Since its founding, the Warren County Historical Society has admirably carried out its mission to collect and tell the stories that have shaped the region's past and present, and continue to shape the future. One of those stories, the life of Warren County native Supreme Court Justice Robert H. Jackson, will be honored here this evening. On behalf of all Pennsylvanians, I extend my sincere appreciation to the past and present members of the 3 organizations responsible for this evening's program and for their many contributions to the people of our Commonwealth. I wish everyone an enjoyable evening and much success in the years to come. Sincerely, Thomas Corbett, Governor of Pennsylvania.
Thank you.
I want to thank the sponsors who really, without them, this would not happen tonight. A bonus. We're here to honor the legacy of Robert H. Jackson, and as you know, he's your guy. When I say yours, he's a Warren County individual. And as we've learned about the history of Justice Robert H. Jackson, he never forgot. He never forgot Warren County, Pennsylvania. Not only did he was born here, and I see this good person right over there, Lynn, who did so much of Spring Creek Township, but wonderful things at Spring Creek Township. He would come back, he would fish, he would hunt. There are many stories, including the one where President Roosevelt was trying to find him, and they had to go through the store, the general store, to find Justice Jackson was out fishing in Spring Creek. But he never forgot, and in fact, some of his family members are in fact buried in Spring Creek Township, including his daughter, Mary. But also here today, brought to my attention, Phyllis Mickelson Carlberg, right here, from Sugar Grove. And just a few minutes earlier, gave to me something which I'm going to read, because I just think it tells so much about Robert H. Jackson and his interest and love. Now, as I mentioned, Attorney General, Solicitor General, Justice of the Supreme Court. And in 1940, Phyllis wrote a letter to then Attorney General Robert H. Jackson, asking a series of questions. I believe there were 6 of them, questions. And here's his response. He paused as Attorney General. Now this is 1940. This is during the time of World War II had commenced. We were on the fringes of it. Ironically, in April of 1940, when he wrote this letter, the whole concept of the exchange for the bases, for the carrier, looking at a very important time period which Franklin Roosevelt decided he was going to make that exchange. And he was going to make that exchange without the consent of the executive, or of Congress, based on an opinion of Warren's Attorney General, Robert H. Jackson. I don't know the exact date, but I think it's April of 1940. So this is the time. So while he's dealing with this world issue, he writes a letter. Dear Phyllis, I am sorry that I am so far away that our interview has to be conducted by correspondence, but I will try to answer your questions. I went to grade and high school at Frewsburg and then to Jamestown High School. I then went to Albany Law School and mostly to the school known as the School of Hard Knocks. The subjects that interest me most are hard to describe because I was interested in all of the subjects that I took, but probably history and English held the greatest charm for me. I certainly believe that high school training has a definite bearing on one's future. In fact, in the complicated modern world, I do not see how any less than this would equip one to understand what is going on about him. Your 4th question is a little difficult to answer. I do not believe American youth should become excited over isms. But of course, doctrines such as communism or fascism, backed by powerful international organizations, may have an important bearing on their lives. I'm sending you a speech to the American Youth Congress, which I think gives you my views on that subject. Your 5th and 6th questions as to the war call for prophecy, and I'm far from a prophet. I hope and believe that the United States will not be involved. At the same time, I was confident that the Scandinavian countries would not become involved, but their beautiful lands have been borrowed as the scenes for the fight without their permission. He was a prophet. With best wishes to your father and mother and to you, sincerely yours, Robert H. Jackson. I think that's a remarkable letter. I think that's terrific that you took the time to write. Because that's wonderful.
Boggles my mind that you took the time out for a little country girl.
Well, you took the time as a little country girl to write him. He took the time to remember somebody from our neck of the woods. I think that's remarkable. And thank you for sharing this, and we're going to make a copy and give this. We'll get this back to you, but we'll make a copy here. Our speaker, and we're honored on many fronts to have David Crane be our speaker today. David Crane is a professor of practice at Syracuse University College of Law, where he also earned his Juris Doctor degree. He teaches international criminal law, international law, and national security, as well as the laws of armed conflict. However, this is why he's here today. In 2002, he was appointed chief prosecutor of the Special Court for Sierra Leone by then Secretary General of the United Nations, Kofi Annan. Through 2005, Professor Crane prosecuted those who bore the greatest responsibility for crimes against humanity, war crimes, and other serious violations of international human rights committed during the Civil War in Sierra Leone during the 1990s. He was the first, I'm going to repeat this, he was the first American chief prosecutor at an international war crimes tribunal since Justice Robert H. Jackson at Nuremberg in 1945. David's a member of the Robert H. Jackson Center Board of Directors. He's received awards. It's unbelievable. It continues and continues and continues. But what's critical for us to know today, that David, as chief prosecutor at the tribunal in Sierra Leone, was the person who conceived and wrote up the indictment against then Liberian President Charles Taylor. Now, some of you may be watching, and maybe hopefully watching closely, and if you aren't, go Google it tonight. Follow it, because the Charles Taylor case is ongoing. The prosecution has concluded, the defense has concluded, and on Tuesday, the prosecution commenced its closing arguments. David, as the chief founding prosecutor, was invited to go to The Hague to witness something which he started. Can you imagine, it's our David Crane indictment against a president, sitting president, who in turn was served the indictment, who in turn left Liberia, went to Nigeria. There he sought safe haven. Subsequently, through a change of government in Nigeria, he was extradited, arrested, taken to The Hague, tried, and the trial is now concluding. David was given an opportunity to go and be part of that. He chose instead to be with us. And I'm honored that David Crane, who is a part of history, part of the continuum of Robert Jackson, our Robert Jackson, is here today. And I'm just honored that he'll be sharing some thoughts. So without any further ado, Professor David Crane.